Hey there, I have recently started a fairy tale news network because I was bored. I used 4 AIs in order to make it happen. I want to show you how it looks like. Let's get into it. So the other day I wasn't really feeling like sleeping yet, and a friend of mine was texting me about another book idea that I could write with the help of ChatGPT. And instead I thought, you know what? I want to write stories on a more real-time basis, and what better way to do that than actually starting your own news network? Now, what's the motivation? I want to tell my children a little bit about the world in a language that they can understand, about stories that I think might be interesting to them. So what I did is I started a fairy tale news network called Once Upon a News, and I started it on Substack, and I'll show you how it looks like right now. So what you can see here is the main page. Right now it's just called onceuponanews.substack.com, and you can go here yourself and check it out. What I did is I used basically, I take an article that I like, something that's interesting, like let's go with this one here, for example, The Legend of the Extraordinary Boots. And this is an article that was inspired by the latest movie about Michael Jordan, and his just Air Jordans. I think it's called Air. Let me show you my workflow so you understand what I'm doing. First up, you see me here. I have a pre-prompt that I use in order to set a role to ChatGPT to make it understand what I want it to do. And it goes something like, I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but you can read it here. I'm telling it, you are Story GPT, a masterful storyteller specializing in creating engaging fairy tales with a humor and valuable moral lessons in the style of Divine Comedy, for that one in specific. And, then I go on and define a rough length. And I also ask it to generate 2 or 3 images for text to image that might be good as illustrations to that story. And how we do that, we'll go on that in a moment. And I wanted to do basic formatting with Markdown and all that type of stuff. So I wanted to remove some names, simplify concepts, and rephrase the content so it can be used as an analogy to the original story. And I also defined the target audience as adults with a 5th grade reading comprehension level. So that's basically it. Then I asked ChatGPT, do you understand what I want you to do? And it generally does. Once I have that role assigned to ChatGPT, all I do is just copy the original article, which is also linked under each story on my news network. I copy that original article and then paste it into ChatGPT with this pre-prompt that I just mentioned. And it usually spits out a pretty good starting point for the final copy into my fairy tale news network. So once that's done, I have the entire story out here that I can just copy paste, or maybe I edit it a little bit. Then I have the text story here. You can see it's really simple. Let's go to maybe a one that's a little longer. Let's do the latest here of Elon Musk and the Mind Stone. It's basically an article about Elon Musk and his Neuralink. Going back to the workflow, I post my copy onto the page. The next thing that I do is then I go to 11 Labs, where I have my own generated AI voice. This one is my standard narrator. It's an old African male with 200% accent, whatever that means. And the thing is, once you generate these, they actually never sound the same. So you kind of have to save whatever you like once you have it, because it won't come back if you decide to go back to it later. So let's just take the first article, or the first part of this article, and copy paste it right here and see what it does.
Once upon a news, in the magical land of Etheria, there was a young girl named Ilara who couldn't use her legs because of a bad dragon attack.
That's the kind of thing that I'm doing there. So that's cool. And I basically feed it the entire copy and have a narration, right? So what I do also is, in order to maybe make it a little nicer, let's go to this story here. You can see I actually have a little background music, and I do that with beethoven.ai. AI. There you go, beethoven.ai. You can create your little soundtrack. What I like to do is just a short 15, 16-second intro, and you can hear it right here in this voiceover.
The Legend of Kingar and the Golden Dragon. A tale of compassion, bravery, and a magical gift. Once upon a news, in a kingdom far away, there lived a young girl named...
You get the idea. So that's basically what that is. And then, last but not least, let's go back here. I go back into Midjourney, and I use those text prompts that I got. Basically, I asked ChatGPT to generate some text prompts for me in order just to speed things up. And then I usually reword them a little bit and I make them fit my story. This is a story about a Amazon delivery guy that actually went into a shootout or standoff to deliver his package, which I thought was a fun story. And so, I get those little graphics. Sometimes I color correct them a little bit to kind of make them flow better. But that's basically it. And so I had a lot of fun with this. I created a lot of stories already, and you're free to check it out. It's not paid, and I would love to hear what you think about it. And I want to hear what type of fun projects you're working on. But this is how I use 4 different AIs in order to create my fairy tale news network called Once Upon a News. See you in the next one.